What are the primary reasons why spin-offs and divestments happen?
People who know me, they keep joking that I have an app for anything.
Do you know that Elon Musk had an app, and he knew that Donald Trump had won the presidency before Donald Trump? Now that's a good app, and he made $22 billion in that overnight.
I sometimes think that it's just a natural spin of CEOs.
Guys, good evening. Welcome. Episode 7 of the E7S2 podcast. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Live from the secret bunker.
Absolutely. Now, this evening, wherever we might be or whenever we might be, we thought we'd talk about a little
hacking
thing.
We're going to talk about hacking, and we'll tell you why.
And we'll tell you why. We can't say hacking.
Ethical hacking. Ethical.
Definitely ethical. And the reason why we're banging on about it will all become clear, because when Sleepy Terry wakes up and he fixes the problem, it'll all become clear.
It'll come clear on the next show.
I think if you look for the show this evening on YouTube, you're not going to find it. Anyway, moving on. Something that's relevant to all of our lives, for which we'll introduce you to our guest shortly. We're going to talk about, but first, Danny, the business of the podcast.
Well, we hope to our old subscribers, new subscribers, and mum, dans, grands, that you get to see this show. And if you do, then we've got over our slight trouble that we got pulled down. We don't know why.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome back. Thank you to new and old. Welcome to infomatterspodcast.com. And I didn't say cat for the 7th episode.
In a row.
I'd only say cat. So, as you know, if you're interested in the world of IT, you're interested in just information in general, you'll have noticed over the past few shows we're bringing in much more varied guests to talk about life balance. Structure in the workplace, your managerial growth,
stressing,
control,
all that kind of good stuff.
So, subscribe. We've got a nice present for the show today, and position-wise, we're looking for an ethical hacker. Now, this is just a plain words. Anyway, the question we always ask: do we know this person, Kenny?
You do.
I do. So we'd like to welcome Natalie. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure. Welcome. Good to see you.
Natalie and myself work together, colleagues, friends, pretty much all of the above. The topic of today's show, Kenny.
Well, something that's relevant.
But before you do,
go on. Yeah, we thought best of the gifts.
So everybody who always comes on our show, especially season 2, gets a special gift. So you've had the merchandise, the pens, the mouse pads, the T-shirt, the garbage bag, the umbrella, the free ticket to Jamaica. You get a security wallet.
Oh my!
For all your security needs. It's zero trust because no one will nick it.
Exactly.
Even me, right?
Yeah. So at the end of the show, if you see it lying on the desk, you could win that said wallet.
That'll go in the merch bag.
You.
We are known for our quality of gifts, and as you can see, it's immaculate.
Impressive.
Exactly.
Zero
trust.
I have no idea.
Zero trust, limited style. One of the both.
Well, we do have a story. Natalie actually has a Harry Potter wand as well to assist with work. How's it going?
How's that?
It does help in some cases.
Yeah,
It
but
does not in others.
You just hit them with. You just hit them with it.
Yeah, that's it. So Kenny, let's have a question for today.
Absolutely. So one of the things, we'll come to a multitude of subjects, but starting from the top, what are the primary reasons why spin-offs and divestments happen? In your experience.
And what's your experience, actually?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I do this.
It's
Introductions first.
Why do they happen? These I sometimes think that it's just a natural spin of CEOs. There's one after another. They have different strategy. One comes, says, "Okay, listen, we are going to diversify our portfolio, and then
that's
let's
polite
acquire things."
A polite way of saying
bye. Yes,
right.
And then another comes and says that, listen, the previous strategy did great for the time, but now we're in a new world. Let's do something different.
I've never thought of it that way. So it's basically someone new comes in and goes, "I don't like that."
Thank
you.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked into it because we were looking at the question and I was like, that's quite a deep one. But when you think about it,
if you think that they're literally who are CEOs these days. It's hired managers, right? Everyone steps in, and then he needs to introduce his strategy, her.
And but they have to sell that to, I imagine, a massive board of directors,
shareholders, company. There should be values, behaviors, all of these. This strategy builds up, and then say, okay, I need to leave some mark.
I was going to say, I need to leave some profit.
Profits.
I mean, I guess it depends who they're talking to. So if they're talking to the shareholders, there's a sustained need to maintain
can be different
profitability and shareholder value. What are your thoughts when it comes to the people in the organisation? Are they the recipients of the message, or are they
I might need to bleep this bit out. But
yeah.
Well, as far as I can tell these days, my experience solely, I've been part of corporates for a while, that it's quite challenging to pass the message from the very top to very bottom.
Yeah.
The message gets lost in translation somewhere on the go.
Every hop.
Yes,
some part of the message.
Yes,
I see.
And then even though the message is very well articulated, often it's just, it's so high level that, okay, that's great. That makes sense today for our company to do that. But what does it actually mean for me? And for my job and what I'm doing day in, day out, So it's passing the strategy message is in principle difficult.
Yeah, because there's the divestments. So you get a new CEO, CTO comes in, wants to mix things up, wants to change things up. Do you get the same kind of outcome with an acquisition that you do with a spin-off?
Yeah.
With it's completely different approach.
Right.
So that when you think to divest something, it means that probably you want to focus on something else or give more focus, more resources to some area, while other area doesn't make more sense maybe to continue developing.
Which can be horrible, because the people who are not getting the focus might feel a little bit a certain way. If that
but you can diversify when you acquire. You can go acquire your shit.
Bye. All that kind of
You're being diversified.
And when you and I did kind of. Well, it wasn't the work that we were doing was as a result of mergers or acquisition. It was quite exciting because you're arguably building something that's bigger.
Well, one instance we worked in a large IT corp logistics company, and that was an acquisition.
Yes,
and it was bringing the acquisition in line with the current corporate standards. They use different infrastructure, different this. It wasn't a people thing; it's infrastructure.
Cheaper. That's in a way it's cheaper if you want to add extra focus somewhere else. It's cheaper to acquire something that's already existing.
Yeah, of course,
rather than build from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's basically you're searching the market. Well, I assume I never did it myself. That searching the market, seeing which businesses might be very strategic for you to acquire. And then if there is some certain know-how already in place or some research design was already done, and next step is to put it into manufacturing. So it makes sense to rather take it instead of put money.
Or you're taking a right load of shit.
Yep.
And you're going to cut off
this
the shit part and make it better. I mean, maybe because a lot of companies, some acquisitions are done for the IP. They don't necessarily horribly want the people. They don't want the payroll costs or the pension costs, but they'll happily take the IP.
They take literally just the.
It's a little acquire and strip, which is a horrible way.
Know-how, and they are not interested in, let's say, any assets that come along.
Do you not see that with? I mean, even with headcount, do you not see that with divestment, a new person comes in, or they're just changing their ways, that you see knowledge walking out the door? Or you push knowledge out the door?
Well, usually, I mean, there are cases when the people can be given a difficult message, but usually in the investment...
Bye.
Yes. Sorry, we like you, but...
we really like you, but
ciao.
What's your name? HR?
No, but in usually, if you divest part of the business, you also need resources to operate the business.
Yeah.
And people, maybe not a very nice word to call people resources, but you need somebody to maintain the business, and usually people go with it.
Yes.
So, in my experience, I have not seen really people let go because of the divestment. Shutdowns, when shutdowns happen, that's inevitable. But in divestment, but what happens later? Who knows, right? You don't know how a new company because usually in a deal, what can happen is that you make a deal, and part of the deal would be that listen, this many people you have to retain them, and you have to keep the same level of benefits and everything for a couple of years. But what happens after a couple of years?
And it's the same in an acquisition. There's always at the point of a deal a certain amount of an agreement that headcount will be retained for a defined length of time, typically the length of, or the called a TS. Well, we know it's a TSA because TSA, right? Transition Service Agreement. That defines what will happen, what will be supported, what is allowable, kind of scope of the retention of all the resources, whether there are people or not. and then it can be horrible after that. We're fortunate, or I think, are you freelance?
No.
I'm fortunate.
No.
Really?
I'll rephrase that question.
Depends who to compare.
Ask the audience. Are we fortunate? Like and subscribe.
As a freelancer, I kind of get used to kind of a year or 18 months worth of work, and then I invariably find
freelancer. I always think of someone with long hair on a beach smoking a joint. I don't know why.
I feel like
I've never been an
When
employee.
was the last time you were on a beach smoking a cigar?
No, freelancer. Well, I've never had hair.
You're thinking Rastafarian?
Could be the one. That's funny. You've never been a freelancer or a consultant. I've never been full time.
Yeah, we've never been the other way. And so when
I was 19 at uni, I was a dental technician. I made
interesting, relevant, true story.
True story.
I know it. But about the point I'm making here is that for me, I always get used to kind of a year or maybe 2 years worth of work, and then invariably I go off and find something else. And if you start to as a permanent employee, I imagine when you're in the large enterprise to be part of an organisation, you think, great, I'm here for life.
No.
See, my mother constantly says to me, can you not get a real job? Because I've been pretending for 30 years. But she was in a job.
There's no security in anything.
Yeah, exactly. So when I'm in a job Mum was in a job for 25 years, and even 30 years, and then retired, healthy pensions, Benidorm, all that kind of stuff. We're lucky to get 25 months. And then, but coming to the point of divestiture or acquisition, the breeds change. And we've all heard the management saying, I'm really excited. And people go, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, that in brackets, shitting my pants.
Yeah, but surely, do you fear that, or you just expect it?
I feel these days things are changing every couple of years.
Right.
Be it investment, be it acquisition, be it just general company transformation. You should be constantly ready for yet another change.
Siri, get out my chair.
Exactly. So I don't know.
And what's ready?
Ready.
Siri.
Okay. Ready to mentally accept.
There we go.
The change is inevitable.
It's coming.
Exactly.
It's coming.
Exactly. It's yet
everything's
another
stable.
One, whether you like it or not. Yeah. The more calm you are. No, because I always keep saying that if you have something to offer to the market, you're safe. Doesn't matter. Change is inevitable. Every year.
Yes, it's a
risk associated with divestment and acquisitions. From a personal perspective, change is coming.
Yes,
and people don't like change.
And you either get on
the majority.
So
and I don't like changes.
I mean,
I knew it'd roll back.
CRs for life. You need that on a t-shirt, mate.
Change request myarsehole.com. Yeah, YouTube, you can have that one for free.
Yeah, absolutely. That and your hacking shit.
Yeah. Hashtag we will be back.
Yeah. I was about to say, fucking sleepy. I won't even swear. Stop. Cut. Fucking carrying on, moving. Brain farts here. And so, if you expect the change, it's going to get stressful. Where and how do you get your moment of zen? Is that just leave the office and run around the block for a week, or do you take some time out, or how do you control that?
There is I will tell something that is not being in control.
You don't like the wallet.
I remember long time ago, in the place where I used to work, we had Thursdays out. Exactly. We had Thursdays out because you don't go out on Friday because your Saturday is ruined, and many people have families, and you better ruin your Friday.
Encourage getting wankered on a Wednesday.
and after those Thursdays were really, really quite intensive, and then on Friday I'd be in the office. No home office back then.
I remember.
I would be completely wasted and done and tired and everything. And that time I had a job that I could be pinged by half of the organization due to the job I was doing. Wow. We were really just a couple of people, and the entire delivery part of the organization may reach out to us. And usually it's stress because at that time it was still Skype. It wasn't Teams.
Oh, yeah. What was before Skype?
For Business.
Office Communicator. You remember that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Office Communicator.
That was when phones were powered by coal.
By
a bright light.
Semaphore and pigeons.
And I remember my Skype would often be just a Christmas tree. And usually it gives you a little bit of stress and which one first. And those Fridays, I would come in, I would start my laptop, I would open the screen, and I don't care. because I'm feeling so bad that
Okay.
So I see. Oh no, I see.
So pitfalls of mergers,
matters.
acquisitions, hangover.
Nothing matters, but that this, and now and then I have such days, and I mean, physically you might not feel very well, but mentally, actually you get your zen, because you understand that, you know what,
you're never going to crack. You're never going to crack it. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we were talking prior to the show, weren't we, Natalie and Kenny, and it was a case of, we have colleagues and they work crazy hours. We all work crazy hours. It's just the way it is. If it needs doing, we do it. You've got to turn around and say, it'll still be there tomorrow.
Yes.
It'll be there if you put your laptop in the bin. I'll deliver you a new one. It's still going to be there. So learn to be in the moment and just realise, we've made time for the show.
Yeah,
everyone's mega busy grafting.
I talk a lot about business hours. So the difference between
10 to 2
5 p.m.
in the morning.
Not the business meeting hours. That's something else, right?
Yeah.
Apologise.
That was what I was getting at.
It's between 8, at 5 p.m. and 8:30 tomorrow morning's probably 10 business minutes. So but it helps people understand. You don't need to do it. If you need to do it now, you do it. That's clear. But it doesn't need to
we are talking about different business meetings now.
Yeah, no, we are. Yeah.
5 p.m. is kind of,
yeah,
but until mid of my day.
Yeah.
Well, which depends on your day. It could be, but I try stick to, because of reasons of previous burnout, a quality 8 hours, and then that's a constant assessment of, if I need to do it now, yes, I will go and do it. But if it can wait till tomorrow, it bloody well will.
Yeah, and Bob calls you at 10 a.m.
Usually everything can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
My worry sometimes that why I might stay later in the evening, because I know that tomorrow I'll get more things.
Yes.
And if I don't do this today, I will do this never. And some things, like, for example, stupid like that, but there are certain deadlines for financial reports.
Sure.
You have to do that.
Okay.
Tomorrow it's already not necessary.
Yes.
Either today or you failed. And,
so that's a bad mindset, though, isn't it?
There's not many such things, fortunately. But also to get zen, I remember when actually holidays help, especially when I was in Norway. Even it wasn't long holidays.
How much is that?
Back to Prague.
Eine Schnöbel, einen Tausend-Tacken-Papen. It's only an apple. That was German.
Then you see these mountains, and they've been there for millions of years.
Yes,
and
blows
they
your
will
mind.
be there for millions of years.
Yes.
And you look at that, and it's and we are so irrelevant. And this PowerPoint in 10 centimeters left to right is so irrelevant, and none of this data makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I also love sci-fi. I just love it. And I read when I read or I
UFOs.
Watch it, no, not
That's
sci-fi.
Oh, hashtag sci-fi. This woman hasn't got a clue.
Sci-fi, but everything like about universe, the distances, the planets.
You see when the moon's out or half crescent, and you literally, it's an autumnal evening. The sun's, and you look at it and you go, "Hang on, there's the sun.
Yeah,
there's the moon. We're on a ball."
Yeah.
We're floating on a ball.
Space.
Why is the water not going?
I like this meme
endless
that
space.
there is a Milky Way, and just the other day
Just don't get it.
and there is an arrow, and like, you are here doing your taxes and fear.
And you're floating in the endless that is
God's over there getting fed cherries by a lion.
Perspective that honestly,
you have to put it in perspective, though, don't you? To just to go, irrelevant. Hang on a minute. Yeah, let's reel this thing in.
We and I get it, and I have always fought do it now or do it never mentality. And I had a burnout a few years back, and it happened when I was on holiday, and there's a psychological impact of looking at water. And a positive psychological impact, whereupon I just went...
He's like, I can't fucking swim.
I can't swim, but
oh, no, the two! There you go, right. So for Christmas, I'm going to get you both swimming lessons.
I want when he wakes up, we want armbands.
Yeah.
We want armbands. And a positive psychological impact of he's arranging them right now.
Yeah, arranging them. Yeah. Info Matters podcast, Christmas armbands.
Yeah, Christmas armbands. But I want them... No, let's not go there.
To the guests out there, if you want to see pictures of it, hashtag NatalieandKenny.com.
Don't say hacker. And so, positive mental impact of looking at water. And I realised how burnt out I was, which was horrendous. And it takes years. Please avoid that, by the way. And I mentioned, kind of all joking aside, you need to be able to take yourself out and focus on the right things, and I think that sometimes it's better to not be at your desk and to plan the things for tomorrow as opposed to try and do the things for tomorrow, because being at your desk you're more productive. Yes.
Not now. We've only been at it 20 minutes.
When he leans forward, he wants to talk to us.
You're the last 5 minutes of the show. How in dare you?
Yeah.
What's all this?
And sleep. Right.
We're on question 1. We've got another 28. Take the wine away.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I mean, one of the, I'm aware of the the questions that we were going to talk about were straying away, and it's good because that's the organic conversation. One of the questions is, building a strong team. I know you've got a big team. I know you've got shared loads of responsibilities. Does a team help you?
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of managing. Yeah, I suppose.
That's a loaded question because you said
I was just having a wee punt there.
It really helps because Danny will do it.
No, because it leads into the characteristics of building a strong team.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I know your personality. I've got to know you on a professional basis, and I personally love the way you go about things.
Flattering is coming.
But I say it anyway.
Say more, Danny.
No, but the way I'm getting it is how you foster collaboration with your teams, which for me, having the ability to be able to speak to, senior management, being involved in that level, which pretty much as an external always have been, gives, I don't know, you get that sense of satisfaction when, you are working with management. It makes me feel that I can walk away and go for a 35-minute walk and come back
and my
laptop's not on fire when I come back. And I suppose the question is how do you foster that? I know how you do it, but for conversation purposes.
So do you run away from your desk, or you don't, or you're at your desk?
No, it was more fostering that trust in your team, because
it's easy. You just have a perfect guys, and you just trust them. But it's
that
easy.
really wasn't the question for me. I should not have.
You lying, but
I should not. Honestly, I should have picked the mergers and acquisitions one.
You can see him shaping that question for instant feedback.
I find myself lucky, to be honest, to have the team I have. Lucky in a way that a couple of them, I had a first and last conversation when we had positions open, and I like you, you like me, let's work together. And the technical background or skill set and everything came with it. Of course, it was clear that the person was capable and applied for the right place.
And have you had that look in the previous company, in previous position, when you were in divestment, spin-offs, acquisitions?
In M&A, it's a bit different.
That's M&A, mergers and acquisitions. That's one.
Mostly work with external people. So my experience with leading team previously, they're mainly coming from vendors. And it's a little bit different setup, and frankly speaking, I always loved working with external people. I built very strong relationships.
Tell me more.
Some of them, yeah. No, really, I had colleagues, couple of guys, because M&A teams are usually super small because it's super confidential. You need a very small circle, but if you have the right circle, it's super powerful. Because small teams super efficient, everybody knows their role, everybody knows what's expected of them. And when I just started with M&A, maybe we needed time to get to know each other and so on, but a couple of years later it was so smooth. I loved it. It was really perfect. But my attitude was a little bit different. I must say I'm a little bit harsh, because
you heard it here.
Sorry, Danny, but if we pay for certain service and we pay for this company, I'd like to get it. Yes,
trust me, that hammer comes down.
Absolutely.
There is no time to. I mean, of course, we're all humans. Everybody can have ups and downs, but in principle, if something is not working, I expect vendor to fix it. And while working with internal team, you have to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent, a bit more empathetic, and so on and so forth.
But still showing respect.
Yes.
Honestly, it was the wrong question. It should have been fielded by Kenny. It should have been fielded by Kenny.
We read them in the wrong order.
Well, you answered perfectly. It's all good.
Nice one.
Oh,
safe.
Tomorrow, you.
Danny will do it. Funk.
P45.
Absolutely. And so we talked a lot about in the prep for this, that a lot of these M&A projects, they bring around a couple of years worth of stress and bullshit sometimes, and a lot of work, and that you've mentioned that you take a little bit of time away, and like I said earlier, if COVID ever taught us anything good, it was that 8 hours at your desk isn't good use of your time. You need cognitive thinking,
15.
Planning. 15. Well, I mean, I do try and stick to the kind of 8, sometimes a little bit more. So you look at it a kind of 45-hour week, and I harp on about that because it was so sorely, or I was so sorely educated some years ago. And so, do you think that M&A is this the basis that you're going to work with for life? Is it always going to be M&A projects, or will you? I guess you'll be going with the organisation.
Well, I'm not in M&A today. I had spent.
I should have had that question.
Okay, we'll cut that back.
I spent nearly 5 years, but I started to feel that M&A is tiring. It is tiring because.
Let me ask the question again. Yeah, not an M&A. I should have known that. I'll talk about M&A activity, right? So I'll say, like this. So M&A activity can lead to a lot of increased work for everyone involved because it's not tied to one single function. And I imagine for the next little while it'll be fairly for the foreseeable future. And with the organisational change you talked about, it's always going to happen. Does that not put you off, or are you fearful of this sort of activity just because of the time it takes? Or you've just assumed it will happen?
We're into a different job.
Thing is that I hope nobody's listening.
No, we have absolutely no listeners. There's not 4.5 hours. Well, there's none today.
But M&A years where thing is it's given. It's just you need to take a decision. Are you up to it or not? But M&A is always critical on time. Always time works against you. So you may have additional resources. You have to optimize blah blah. But time, we always took it as it was. You can never extend the timeline. It must never come from technology. It can come from business function, from lawyers, from whoever, not from technology. And then it's constantly one project starts another, because it's never that you run one project. There are 5 projects happening simultaneously. And then I thought, okay, maybe M&A, maybe just to have a break. And this is where I jumped into another activity that's even more tougher than M&A.
I was going to say, what's the difference of what you're doing now with 5 projects? Because we've got 120 projects. Right.
Yes. So whatever I'm dealing with now, it's the most complex M&A you can ever have.
Got it.
Because of this, the scale, the enormous.
Give us an example. Give us an example for the audience.
Spin-off.
Spin-off
is
is
the bigger, and especially the bigger organization
that
is trying to make a spin-off. The heavier it is, the more critical it is. It's like it's everything that can work. It's Murphy's law here, right? Everything can go wrong.
Goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. And M&A as such, as a business process, considered one of the most complex. And you take spin-off being M&A, it's probably the most complex thing.
So the question that reels perfectly, it's gone into, what are the pitfalls of spin-offs, acquisitions? From a spin-off perspective, which is what you're engaged in now, just today, a couple came up, from financing, from resourcing to budgeting, to you get to a critical path, and then all of a sudden it's like,
which priority do I do first? Or, how do you kind of make your decisions, or is it just a case of piling through? Yeah,
I think it comes. I don't mean to be smartest in the room or whatever.
Please be smart.
No. I feel like it's really after all these years, because I started as a developer. I've always
you're a techie,
Yes. Yeah, I've always been, I love these things. Childhood, I decided very early that I'd like to do that. Then I went to university.
And what were you, so you got?
IT education, computer science development. Then I started development as a career.
So tell us what you're in university. What did you program?
What did I?
Did you have to program?
Did you have to do any hacking?
I did assembler. Remember?
Wow.
Yes. Long time. It was
it's like speaking binary.
Half it was piece of work, I must say. But then all kind of development was generic education, like we touched C++. Bit of Pascal, I think, was at school even. I saw Pascal
Coral.
at school.
So I was going back to
And I used to, we had a ceremonial burning after I left some years ago, where we had a Pascal book and a Coral.
And you know, when I was doing that, I had just a book. You just brought up the book. I had
with a CD in the back.
It's a book, and that's all the knowledge you have. You have
You
nothing
didn't have
else.
the
You have a
internet?
computer.
Can
How did you learn?
Remember as kids. So I remember being like 12, and you guys out there, if you're old,
Yeah.
and literally for Christmas it was back in the day. So I wasn't there. It's 86, and it was a ZX Spectrum.
Yeah.
It was 16K. Was the
Yeah.
RAM processing. What you always wanted to get was it's a new computer and you can do your own programs.
Yeah.
So I remember on Christmas Day I got 2 magazines, me and my brother, and you would go through code line 1, and you go down 99 lines of code, you press enter and you go, bollocks. Error line 1. Error line 2. Error, you're like, and at the end of it you did it, you just went, boop, boop,
Yeah,
but we all developed something.
It was like ping
there was
pong.
no internet. There was no internet back then, of course not.
And you did it character by character, and then I used to save it to an audio tape style thing, and then you'd wait it writing to the tape. And mine was a Commodore 64
we've all
plus
done it.
4.
You know how I've done my exam on C++?
You paid someone.
On paper.
You wrote it. You wrote it down.
Yes,
Imagine.
yes.
Lines of code on paper. Yeah.
Yes, there was the exam was consisted of 2 parts, theory and practice. And then first you do practice, because if you cannot write code, go. So, but there were not enough computer. The teacher wouldn't be able to, I don't know, cross-check everything on time.
Audit the code.
So he said, okay, everybody has like 30 minutes. You write it. He wasn't super tough on syntaxes.
Right.
But nonetheless, logic must be there.
Sure.
And if you pass that gives you 3 out of 5.
Right.
If you want 5 out of 5, you have to pass the series and
So then you have to talk about it.
See, this is fascinating because all of us share that. And we all did it with pen and paper.
We did.
And then,
And I was going to say you used to get 2 points for putting your name in the paper.
Yes. And then you back to priorities, right?
Yes.
So when you started like that and like that and like that, if your entire career has been defined in priorities, you take it kind of.
You kind of always do it
feeling.
subconsciously, right? So I mean, if things come in, I'm always aware, and it's like a constant loop in programming language. Is it priority 1? If not, keep going. No, the logic.
Yeah.
Yes, kind of. You have some mechanism in place.
Of course, and it's who's saying it to you, whatever the message is, or who's writing to you. Seniority. Is something really rubber-ducked, right? And by that point, I mean something's broken.
But isn't it fun? You're creating something and it works.
I love it. I don't know if it's fun, but you got used to it.
Never leave for tomorrow something that can be done.
Forever. Don't leave for tomorrow.
Back to line 1.
Can be done today, right? And I was that way. We used to say, "Get shit done." That was our mantra for years. Now mine, and I mean this, is do less shit. I'm a published author. I'll have you know. Oh. I was in a book called The Lazy Project Manager by Peter Taylor, and I'm in section something when I did the Jack Bauer project management. I should put the link under the video.
Jack Bauer 24.
And I told this story and everyone thought it was hilarious. But this guy's a published author on the concept of lazy project management, which is not literally what it means. It means being very selective about what you spend your time on. Classic Pareto 80-20, right? 80% of your effort.
The laziest people are the most efficient because they want things done in the most efficient way because they're lazy to spend a lot of time and effort on.
And conversely,
mouse jiggle.
Famous. If you want something done, ask a busy man or lady to do it because they're very efficient in their thought process of it.
I'll remember this tomorrow.
Because ladies always
Danny,
do
you're free.
Ask. You're going to get dumped on. There's that word again, right?
You need to bring ladies. I don't have any ladies working.
We did. Sorry, was that code for diversify?
I love it. Yes. I will spin off shortly.
I mean, I have them part of internal team, but I don't have them part of external team.
There we go.
So you have to acquire ladies? He's really good at that.
Well, there you go out there. Just look at xtelligence.com in the chat box below.
For diversification and other things.
Yes. Because they truly add some
Shazam. Yeah,
Shazam and wisdom.
No, indeed.
I think they call it D&I people, diversity and inclusion.
Going back to you've got the priorities, prioritizing, and then the pitfalls of spin-offs. I mean, one example, was today. Just an example was, we've got so much traction on a lot of projects coming into fruition to get these integrations going.
Yeah.
And then you hear one of our colleagues just says, "Well, we've got this big chunk of work. It needs to be done by the end of the month, but because of budget not being signed off, we can't." And you just kind of feel We got such momentum, got the team so well oiled.
Yeah.
Don't take that weird. So well oiled to a point, and you're like, we can do this, and then it's just like you fall off the end of a cliff because it's a spin-off, because money is prioritised and budgeted. That it's like, just run into that wall.
So you kind of get them G'd up, and everyone's good to go and motivated. Then it doesn't happen, and it'll be doubly as tough to get it to motivate again, right? So there's a point in time where you. But if you've got a good team,
then he's fortunate. He has hundreds of these integrations to implement. So if one failed, there is always
I'll do another one.
You just pick another one.
Exactly.
Just go into another change request. I'll do 500.
What is you just put your arm in the box and go, I'm going to do that one?
Literally.
Really?
Yeah, give me a number between 1 and 100. I'll tell you exactly what the interface is, which middleware it's using, which data it's going on.
Middle of the night, yes.
I
feel
did.
like
When Danny can't sleep.
You can
but I always change my Outlook message to sending from my couch, or a quick message from Mars.
No,
and Natalie picks up on it going, I like your message. That's 2 in the morning. Work-life balance. My ass.
Yeah. I mean, there's the theory, then there's the practice, Danny, right? So
There is. I thoroughly enjoy what we're doing. And I like it when it's fast-paced. I like it when we've got loads to do. And we got it to a place where, and that was another thing that was going to segue into our tools. To prioritising projects, work-life balance, huge workloads.
Yeah.
How do tools and automation help? And I know you love it.
Yes, I love it. I have people who know me, they keep joking that I have an app for anything. Like there is an app for anything I do.
Do you know that Elon Musk had an app? And he knew that Donald Trump had won the presidency before Donald Trump. Now that's a good app. And he made $22 billion in that overnight.
Why do I think there's something schneiging on there?
I know that was a complete tangent. Well done, Musk.
Yeah. He's been
the tube station.
He's been dipping into things he shouldn't. Yeah, well, exactly.
Hey, Jenny, he's an interesting man.
What's the weird?
I don't use anything fancy. Unfortunately, we don't have anything fancy at work. So we do basically when Microsoft came with their planner, I was super happy because it was the first time something more or less
integrated,
efficient.
Yeah, I see.
Popped up because before that was Outlook and Task. It was nothing.
You couldn't share tasks that you created for yourself, right? So you needed somewhere to put them if you wanted to give them to someone.
I create. These days.
Or did you write something? Maybe
everything is my Microsoft to do.
What's that one?
Sorry, I don't know if Microsoft needs to pay
I was going to say I wrote something in COBOL.
Actually, Microsoft buy YouTube off Google and put us back on.
Put us back online.
No, but my to do. I put everything there. What I liked about specifically this tool is that you finally got a place where you could have everything in.
Yeah.
Either anybody assigned to you, or you picked a mail to follow up, or you created manually some task, whatever. It's all in. And for me, it's like if it's not there, it's not happening for me.
Yeah.
And every day I start with just looking.
And you can have a Kanban view, and you can have a Gantt view, if I remember rightly. No?
Not in To Do, but in Planner.
Yeah,
but I used To Do desktop app because everything is there. All the overdue tasks are there. I know exactly what I'm not delivering.
I like that function where you're watching or you're following something. It's like, she might come to the meeting. Watching.
Yeah, but I do that not just for work. I do it personally also.
No, it's good.
I also use some tools and I integrate them. I used IFTTT. If then this that. Yeah, before even it was fancy because it was something that I needed and it was.
If then this that. It's an app. You find it. It's basically if something happens in one app, do this in that app. You look it up. We'll put a link. It's really good.
Yeah,
and then your battery dies on your phone. You're left on a desert island and you're fucked.
Doesn't always work if you pay. Yeah, well, exactly.
So there are a couple of things like that. Some for free, some for paid accounts. Exactly. And then you choose. Then there are plenty of integrations between some of the to-do lists with calendars, with mails, with anything. Then there is So
what you're telling me is you're super organised inside work and outside of work.
I try.
Danny does all your work.
I contribute.
He contributes to all the work. Which is a kind of good thing.
Just contribute.
A good way to be an ability. I mean, the ability.
We've got a great team.
Constantly prioritise is a human thing, and that you're not letting these M&A activities around your regular job, cheese you off, make you run away, all that kind of stuff. Because you do hear some horror stories of just never ending perpetual change.
I think what we need to spend more time doing is looking at the fields, looking at the mountains.
Yeah,
respecting
we're conscious
where
of
we
time.
are.
We're going to have to wrap this up. But when Danny and I during COVID decided that we couldn't spend any more time at our desks unless we put a pillow down and just kicked on the desk. which we went down to Croatia on Saturday. I spent a few weeks there, and I really, really still remember that turning point in my career where I can't do this anymore. And it wasn't just my project assignments at the time. I had other side hustles.
Staring at the sea.
Staring at the sea, and we would sit there and have a quality
we
20 minutes.
Wouldn't talk, just quality, fixated by the ocean.
And that had a wonderful effect. Then a few changes happened in my life, and by that I don't mean of the other nature. I mean business nature, just to be clear.
And now he's learning to be a pilot because he can't swim. So when you're flying over the Pacific Ocean in your struggling jet, you'll be able to use the Info Matter podcast live bands.
Yeah, well, it is not one of the conditions of being a pilot that one must be able to swim. That needs some thought.
So Natalie, final thing to the audience. Any advice on work, life, balance,
keeping it real,
structure?
not losing your shit, anything.
Not losing your shit and getting.
I recently read a couple of months ago, thing that actually works. They say that plan something personal in the end of your business day, and that will force you to leave your desk.
Something to look forward. Yeah.
And this actually it does.
And here we are.
Yeah, we come down to the secret bunker and we drag you away from your desk. And that's good. So I like that. And maybe something for the weekend as well, so that you've got something to look forward to, or even a holiday you were mentioning. Take some holidays.
Another thing I read some long time ago is that actually planning the holidays gives you more excitement than holidays itself. They say that keep planning holidays all the time, even if it's holidays in 3 months or 5 months or something.
I mean, when I was away this year, and my brother was there, and my sister-in-law, and my wife. Yeah. And before we went away, we were doing a countdown on a chat called Holiday, and it was literally 120 days to go. You bastard! Because my sister-in-law Natalie, I love you with all my heart, Natalie, is from Leeds, so they say you bastard. It's nothing rude. and then she'd send back the day after, 116 days to go. You bastard! So I sent one literally the day after we arrived back in July. That I went 365 days to go. You bastard! And every day one of us will send it back.
Absolutely.
And it reminds you, you're going away.
Yep.
Exactly. And actually, on the way back from my holiday this year, I booked next year's. And
immediately.
We did, and I have done as well. Listen, we're going to wrap this up, otherwise our lights go off.
So that on a final note, again, like, subscribe, send it to your gran, your dad, your mum, your parents, whoever. Somebody who wants, if you want to be on the show, if you want to recommend somebody, you want to win some merch, just like and subscribe below, put your comments in the chat. This week's episode was sponsored by The Watchman. So if you wonder why I do wear fancy watches, it's because I buy them.
Yes.
But you'll see a link below. You'll see his beautiful picture. Just if you're interested in watches this week, have a look. But thank you, Natalie, so much.
An absolute pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you.
Cool.
As we said at the start, we bounce all over the show. We did. And we got through one question. So
absolutely.
We're all good.
So same time next month, we'll have Natalie back and we'll go through the rest of the questions. So until we see you then,
it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.